know we have a name?
I do.
So we are here to talk a little bit more about the Zoom platform, and for all of our esteemed partners that joined us um, for what was our tech summit last couple months,
Yeah.
2 months ago, I guess now. We got a lot of great feedback on really the product, and we want to talk more about the product today. And we want to talk about the. I think we start today with talking about cameras, Eric. Like I think for
Which is
me, when I'm thinking about how we present ourselves, everyone has the ability now that they're joining a video meeting to be their own broadcaster. And
absolutely.
so, why would you not want to put your best foot forward? And so, we're gonna peel back a layer of the onion today, right,
And
Eric?
there's a little bit of poetry in us talking about this.
Or
So
masquerading?
for
I'm
people
not
who don't know,
sure.
John and I, between two phones, we're phone centric. We love contact centers and phone and calling. But Zoom started with this right here,
The video,
video.
yeah. Zoom video meetings, Zoom video communication,
So that's, I
and
mean, it's a little bit of poetry in motion that we kind of we pay homage to that origin.
so guess what? Guess what? We're peeling back a layer of the onion. I'm just going to turn my virtual background off. I really don't have much of a background. It's pretty boring here. Like I'm a
But you did that
meteorologist
on purpose, didn't you?
here. I did because so many people required when I joined these meetings when I came over to Zoom. They wanted to have virtual backgrounds, and
Yep.
and when I was using just the blur my background, it wasn't it left something to be desired. So even if I turn it on right now, so if I go into my virtual background using the camera that I have, which we've talked about, a Logitech Brio is the camera that I'm using right now. And if I take just a sample Zoom background, this is my green screen, but I'm going to turn green screen off here in a second. Right now it's on, and you can see that my hand is very clearly defined. But what happens if I turn green screen?
Oh,
Oh, this is what a lot of folks, when they don't have a chroma key green screen behind them, there's a lot of washout. I'm going to turn it back on, but in fact, I'm just going to leave it off for the rest of this call
so what's
because we want to talk
interesting?
about cameras, right?
Yes, we're talking about cameras. So I also have a Brio, but I have a Brio, and I have more. I'm running multiple cameras here. I have a Brio, the original Logitech Brio. We are fishing for sponsors, so go ahead and reach out to us. Um, the Logitech Brio has a feature that I love because I'm a PC user. It has Windows Hello. So for people who don't know, Windows Hello is the ability, a lot of your laptop cameras have this built into it, where you can sign in using biometric information through your camera. So it identifies me as an individual, does hold just a ton of information, is collected, and that particular feature is not in all webcams that you buy. The Brio happens to have that feature, and I love it. I think I will always have a camera of that because my laptop, while it has it, I leave it closed and kind of tucked away, getting air behind my screens at my home desk setup. So that Windows Hello allows me to walk up to my desk, hit it, tap the enter button. The camera wakes up, sees that's me, and then I'm working. I don't have to
I
touch
do
anything. I don't have to do
remember,
anything.
yeah, I do remember on my Windows Surface that being an embedded feature of the camera that was on there. I
Yes.
enjoyed that functionality. I don't use Windows though as a regular daily device. I use Mac, and so I don't get that functionality.
And
But
I
for those Windows users, I definitely see there's a huge advantage there to being able to do that.
and I think it has a good picture. It is a 4K camera. It's a very good device. There's nothing wrong with it as a camera. I feel like I'm not getting
4K, why does
whitewash.
that even matter?
Who knows? I don't know. They could tell it
Zoom
8K.
Zoom maxes out. Important footnote here. Zoom maxes out at 1080p today.
Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah. And you're looking at me through 1080p right now.
And you look
And
great, John.
oh,
Let me just take a moment and say, and I'm going to agree with all of our commenters below
well, I, I,
that you
I
look great, John.
I do not have touch up my appearance turned on, which is another functionality of Zoom. So you're getting the all natural
And low light
look,
adjustment. Do you have
showing
natural low light
wrinkles.
adjustment?
I have low light turned off. I've got plenty of natural light, and that's another key feature here.
Yes.
If you're going to do your own broadcasting and you're basically setting up your own studio, which I recommend. I mean, why would you not want to put your best foot forward in a meeting, and have the best lighting, the best audio that
Yes.
you can get yourself? And I've got. I think you and I in the past have talked about just getting like a ring light or something that attaches to your monitor that gives you
Very
light.
low
If I
cost
were to
now.
turn that off,
You don't
I
have to get
still
studio level lighting anymore. You can pick these up at a low cost, and it's a significantly better experience
it
for the
is.
people looking at you.
Yeah, and it takes a lot of the taxation off the camera, meaning that the camera is not so taxed trying to figure out the low light situation. When you have high light, it the shutter operates with a lot faster, and it allows it to continue to make sure that
Absolutely.
you look really well on
So,
really good on camera. I'm
so
going to switch cameras.
very similar to the previous episode where we talked about the people with earbuds, where it sounds good to them, but you don't sound good to the people you're listening to. A decent camera, a decent light also extends that. It's not that you need to see yourself looking good.
Right,
It's so that the people you're
right.
interacting with have a good visualization of you. You get to see more context. I'm not doing the looking over here thing and a bunch of other, components. I'm having good meeting etiquette by addressing the camera, addressing the screen that my camera's on, and I have a feeling
That's a hard thing to do. That's a
it
hard thing to
is.
do when you're having a video interaction with someone to stop and break the. So you're over here on my screen right now, which is not ideal for looking into the camera. But when you're really having a conversation with the folks on the call, you want to be looking at a camera. There's a
Absolutely.
great YouTuber out there, Mark Bowden, who I believe he's
Hashtag
British.
Mark Bottom.
Yeah, he's if you get a chance, look him up, and he'll give you a lot of body language tips, things that you can do on camera to better your presentation, which I think goes a long way. I've actually switched here from the Brio to the Logitech 925E,
Excellent.
C925E.
Yep.
Um, what do you think? What's your vote? Brio
So
here.
not as
Here's
soft.
Brio here.
Okay.
Well, the white balance is definitely different. And
Definitely
then
different.
here's the 925E.
I think the 925 was crisper, but the Brio was softer. So the colorization, I liked the colorization of the Brio better. I don't know which one is actually a better representation of your office in person because I haven't been to your office yet. I'm bucking for an invite there, Jeff. I haven't been to
It
your
looks
office
a
in
little green.
person, but I'm visually the Brio is softer on the eyes, whereas the C925E or whatever it was, that one was I felt like it the lines around you and things like that were crisper.
Yeah, I noticed the Brio really works well with high light. So if I can provide a lot of light, then it looks a
Oh,
lot better. Of
so
course, the
I'm
downside of that, if you're staring at lights all day long, then that's a lot for your eyes. So what have you got in your arsenal? I know you've
so
got way more devices to play with than I do because you are a collector of gadgetry, and
oh,
whereas I am a disposer of
so
gadgetry.
I'm gonna actually make a switch. I'm gonna change it up a whole bunch,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
And I'm going to move over to, and it's going to take just a second. I'm going to move over to a Zoom phone appliance.
Oh, okay. All right. We'll see how this goes.
How
So
you doing?
it's definitely a lower angle.
Yes,
Uh,
it is.
the quality of the picture is not nearly as high resolution.
Sure.
The audio does not sound bad because I know you're
Okay.
using the audio path from the Zoom phone appliance. Which one do you have there?
So this is the Poly CCX 700 Zoom phone
Okay,
appliance, and so
very
I'm
cool.
able to see full video engagement, right? So I see you, I see your green screen, I can interact with the touch screen. I get a little preview window of myself going up, but it's actually a phone form factor sitting on my desk. So one of the use cases for this, right? And we've seen these before. They're always novel, right? Taking a
Yeah,
meeting on your phone is novel. This has gotten to a point of functionality where I can legitimately take a meeting on this device and I don't look bad. Previously, when you would have these, they were such specialized devices that you either looked like garbage or it was just an unusable experience. This allows me to have calendar integration, have chat in the meeting. I can see everything's going on. I can see content if it's shared, and
Yeah.
I don't look horrible. Now, the downside, I'm doing that downward angle thing, right? Like a laptop screen, I'm looking down, which
Yeah.
if you are working from your laptop someplace, we'll do another session about where you work from at some point. But if you're working from your laptop, that downward angle is just, you just can't get away from that.
Right. Yeah.
However, in an office with a setup, let's get a better experience. So I'm going to go ahead and switch back to my computer because this is already bothering me looking down like this.
Well, the cool thing about it is that you're able to use that switch button as well. And so you simply toggle that button and you're able to move between your desktop, your Zoom phone appliance, or your mobile device with relative simplicity. So that's a super cool functionality that I don't think a lot of people actually fully understand how to do that. So take us through what you actually just did there.
So on the device, on the Zoom phone appliance, it has my schedule, but it also shows this meeting, and it has, because I'm active in this meeting and it's paired with my account, I see a blue switch button. I just tap that button and then it disconnects from here, activates on there just like that. I didn't have to touch anything else. What, it'd take about 5 seconds, 4 seconds, something like that.
Yeah.
Now to come back, I go to my Zoom client and it shows there on the top bar, it says switch back. If I go to my calendar, I can see where it says it there too, but it gives me a couple options to switch, and I can switch one or the other. I can also do this with my mobile client, right? In fact, I'm really curious. So I got a good idea what you look like, John. I would like to see what this looks like from your iPhone.
Oh, from my iPhone.
Yes. I'm throwing a
So
curveball.
this is a functionality of the latest iOS and the latest Mac OS. Um, and you may have heard, I've actually got my iPhone sitting here, and you may have heard it buzzing when every time you get a notification, it gives you a little vibration, and so every once in a while you hear the bzz. But so I have it sitting on my desk right now, and the the colors are definitely more vivid, and you can tell that by the green screen behind me here. The angle definitely not becoming because I have mine set up on the desk, and so you get a little bit more of a broad view of maybe the office environment that I'm in right now. So you see me interacting with my keyboard. It tells on me if you see that I'm moving the mouse around while we're in a conversation. But the interesting thing is, I don't know. There's this element of I, I I almost feel like you get to know someone a little bit better when you get to see a little bit more of their desk. Do you have a camera there that gives you more wide angle for what you're doing so we could see more of your environment as well?
So this one is pointed, and I have the two cameras, right? So this one kind of shows this side, right? And you get to see the little bank of phones. You get to see this cool background. I'm a pretty big proponent of a non-virtual background.
Yeah.
And I've been very privileged in life to be able to have an office set up where I can do that. And that's been great.
Yeah.
And I love that. I get to show some personality off there.
That's
Right.
right.
So I got the different time zones of my coworkers up there and the map. I got that on the Amazon's real cheap. I've got some devices that I play with listed there so I can turn around, reach, and use them. Now, if I switch over to my other camera here, I show a slightly different angle. And I'll switch between these things based on a couple of conditions. One of them might be, what screen do I want to look at? One of them might be, what do I want to showcase, right? So this actually showcases a couple of different. So you see my Harley vest, you see a hat, beard drop thing.
Yep.
You get to see a couple of different angles from that point of view. But another thing I wanted to show you was what my Android phone. So me and John, while bestest of friendses, have completely different IT experiences.
We do. You're all Microsoft and Android, and I'm all Apple. So
Right. So I'm going to switch again to the.
So
How
for
you
this,
doing?
you're just using that same switch functionality again, right?
Yes. So now this is my Android phone. I have the S21 Ultra from Samsung. Now, Samsung and iPhone love to go back and forth on who has the best camera and everything like that. And that's fine. They can have that experience and everything. How do I look now?
You look vertical.
Do I turn
And
it?
now you look horizontal, which I'm a big fan of people taking horizontal videos because my monitor goes this way and not this way.
True. That's a good point. If you're going to use your phone, turn it horizontally. I believe the iPhone also will automatically adjust
It
so that,
does. Yeah, and I
yes,
think if I were to do that right now, it actually the cool thing is even if I turn it up, it actually does crop it till still to a horizontal frame, which I love that fact. Like it's always keeping it horizontal for me. But
absolutely.
yep.
So,
You look good. You look
little
good.
tour of the office there. You guys saw that. You get to see all these different toys and stuff, and just a quick glance of what I got rocking back there.
Look at that.
Going
I got clocks too. So birds of a feather, huh?
ah, John, I'm telling you, one of these days. So, but this is what that Android looks like. Now, the nice thing about this experience, right?
Yeah.
Super mobile, super able to adjust this. I can also control the environment a little more. I can walk, I can change things like that. So if you're not able to have a specific office set up, going to mobile for certain things and controlling what's around you, especially, lighting situations change throughout the day. Great tool for being able to do that. Now I'm going to actually switch back because once again, switch button. That's all it is. Switch button. I'm going to
Yep.
switch back to my
Good.
desktop client.
Super cool, this functionality to be able to switch directly from the receiving device. So, do you have any other cameras that you want to show off here?
Let me see. I just plugged one in.
Okay.
Okay.
See what it does.
I'm going to say what it is in case it doesn't work, but
Okay.
I'm going to try. I'm going to try and switch to it. I have so many things plugged in.
Yep.
Let's see. Let's see. There it is. So I am actually sitting on, this is the Poly P5 Studio. It's a great little camera, right? One of the coolest things about this camera is that, two cool things I want to mention. It has a manual shutter. So I can just
Oh,
turn
okay.
this, right?
Yep.
And that turns off the camera. You can't
Great
see
for
me.
privacy. Yeah.
And that's, NSA can't turn that little mechanical thing. Not that I have
I'm
a
sure they're
problem with
watching.
the NSA monitoring me.
They're watching through the clock behind you, so.
Do you have any idea how hard it would be for the NSA to figure out what camera to watch me on? There's so many.
At least they
But
have options, right?
they have options. But the other thing that's really cool about this is it's actually the color platform. Almost every webcam you're going to buy, it comes in the standard black form, right? And that's just what they come in. This one is actually a white form factor.
Oh, that's
So
neat. So
with
you
a
can
white cable.
give
So
yourself a pop of color in your office, right?
I have another desk set up uh, down south that I use once in a while, where I have a white desk with white monitors and white cables, and it's meant to be out in the open, out in
Yep.
our main room rather than a private office. So having a white camera for that situation keeps a nice aesthetic, and I can cable dress that all down the thing and keep it nice and clean and neat, so that my wife doesn't yell at me about having too many cameras, because God knows I do.
So,
Yeah.
so you've got a lot of cameras that you use that you play with. I've got a lot of cameras that I use. I will tell you that one thing that we definitely agree on here, and that we would encourage everyone to invest in, is an external camera. Don't use the
Yes.
one that's on board your laptop or whatever compute device you're using. Don't use that one that's on board there, because it's just usually not very good quality. We didn't even test that here because it's just so bad.
It's poopy.
It,
It's a poopy. Now,
so,
the funny thing is that there are times before my Brio was in my life, I would keep the screen open, and some people do this, right? They use that
yep,
laptop as an extra screen. They have it open,
right,
and I would use that just for signing in.
yeah, yeah,
But
which you can do, yeah.
yeah, unless you have it propped up in some way, that screen is down, and that's that look of, you're people looking. I always joke that's, you're looking up somebody's nose. Not a great angle. I don't think there's ever a supermodel ever that said, really, my best angle is from 30 degrees below my chin. It's just not a
We
good look.
will have to leave it there. I appreciate y'all taking the time to watch our Between Two Phones segments. We will have more with more product information and content coming out very soon. So keep your eyes peeled, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Yeah.